anyways, it's time for this month's wrap up. I know we already had a wrap up this month because that was the December one, which I did manage to film in December, so now it's time for the January wrap up. I hope you're excited because I am quite excited. The first book that I read in January is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I know that in December I made the unpopular opinion book tag where I said that I don't get into this J.K. Rowling writing style. And I read the first 4 books of Harry Potter in German last year. So I never read the whole Harry Potter series before, and I never read the English versions. So I only read the first 4 Harry Potter books in German, and I think the third one in English, because I was with a friend who had it in English. So I got the whole series in English for Christmas, and I decided instead of starting with the 5th one, I would start from the beginning. So I read The Sorcerer's Stone, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and I did actually really enjoy it. I still think the writing style is quite childish, which is because Harry Potter is originally a child series, or children's series, or a kids series, however you say it. So it is for a younger audience, and I know that most people who read Harry Potter also read it as kids. It explains why they love it more than I do now, because it just is quite a childish writing style. But I did really enjoy getting all this extra information you don't get from the movies. For example, I think it's really funny that Neville has such a big role, and that in the movies they kind of just push him away to make Ron and Hermione and Harry this golden trio, and kind of just push him away because actually Neville experienced quite a lot of the things the golden trio experience in the movies. So yeah, I did really enjoy it. It was quite a quick read. As I said, the writing style is quite childish, so it isn't that hard to understand. But I really enjoyed reading it, and I'm looking forward to reading the rest of it. My plan is to read 1 book every month, and maybe for the bigger ones, I think the 5th part is quite big. So these will maybe take 2 months, I'm not quite sure. But we'll see. I also saw the movie directly after finishing the book, just to have a comparison. And I have to say that I think they did quite a good job. What I didn't understand is, you know, in the scene in the Goblet of Fire, where Dumbledore in the movies shouts at Harry and everyone's like, oh no, in the books he's so quiet and calm and everything. I understand why people are angry at that. What I didn't understand is why no one's angry that Hagrid in this one, in the book, is very angry with the Dursleys because they didn't tell Harry everything about his parents, or that he's a wizard, or anything at all. He's really angry, he shouts on them, he threatens them and everything. And in the movies he's like, oh, you don't know it? Well, I'm gonna tell you, it's okay. I didn't like that. Hagrid's such an emotional person. I rather enjoyed having him having an emotional outburst. I think that's more suiting. But apart from that, I think they did a really good job. Then it was time for #Yearathon, where I participated in this year. The Yearathon is a book challenge or readathon that goes through the whole year and always has 1 challenge for each month. And the January challenge was to read a bench warmer, so a book that was on your shelf for quite a long time. I started with Dear Doosie and then read Die Achse meiner Welt, which in English is Fractured. I made a more detailed review for both of these, I think in the 2nd week of January. Anyways, if you want to have a more detailed review, then the link will be down below, and now I'm just gonna do a little quick review. So Dear Doosie is a English-German book which tries to bring the German reader closer to the English language and teach us stuff, which I think is a good idea, but yeah, if you want to see the whole I hate this author so much I had to put it down thing, as I said, watch the other video. Now I'm just gonna say I didn't finish it. That's all I'm gonna say about this. And so I did move on to Fractured, which is a book that my mom gave me about a year ago when I finished school. And it's about, I always forget her name, I think it's Rachel. I'm sorry, I always forget her name. And Rachel finished school and has this huge goodbye dinner with all her friends, but there is an accident where her best friend dies. And then we have like the jump cut, so to say, to her future, I think 5 years later, where she's totally miserable and her friends and her aren't in contact anymore, and she thinks she's responsible for her best friend's death and everything is horrible, and her father's really sick and ill, and yeah, everything is really, really bad. And then there's another accident where she hits her head and then wakes up in a parallel universe where everything is perfect. I did really enjoy this theory of parallel universes because that's something I discussed with my dad quite a lot. So that was quite nice to read and to think about, but the writing style itself was rather cheesy and a bit like, yeah, a bit dumb sometimes. Not the writing style itself, but like Rachel was a bit dumb sometimes. And then there happens the end, and as I said in my wrap up for the Eurathon, the end kind of blew me away. I won't say more because obviously everything else would be a spoiler, but I really think that if you're interested in a book that's amazing, not because of its writing, but because of the way it works, then you should really pick this up. It's something that I read like I think 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and that still is constantly on my mind. It's still an idea that stuck with me. So I think that if you read this book, if you want to read this book, it's something that won't change your life, but it will change the way you think about life, maybe. And finally, quite a funny story how I got this. I went into a bookshop and didn't actually want to pick up anything, just wanted to like stroll around and look. But as usual, obviously I did buy something. And I bought Meine wundervolle Buchhandlung. I don't think there's an English version of this, so I'm sorry to all the English people who wanted to read this. I guess it could be a bit like the bookshop book, which I haven't read yet, but I really want to. And yeah, anyways, the way this was, the way I got this was basically that I had it in my hand and looked at it, and then the bookseller in the shop came to me and said, "Oh, our manager loved this book so much that she gave it to all of us for Christmas." And I decided that would be a good idea and a good reason to pick it up. So I did. And it was a really, really good idea. I don't know if you know this yet, or if some of you know this, but my dream is to become a bookseller and to one day even have my own bookshop. And this book is the true story about a woman who kind of accidentally buys a bookshop in Austria with her husband. And it's really funny. It's really funny how they just, oh yeah, we bought a bookshop. We have to quit everything we're doing right now in Germany and go to Austria. So yeah, I always mark the pages that I really love in a book. So these are all the pages. I don't know if you can see this. Let's just... So we have quite a lot, which is because I fell in love with the idea of this being my future. If my future as a bookseller will be anything like this at all, then I will live a dream. And I honestly I think I will reread this book so many times because it was funny and true and honest, and it showed all the bad parts of it, like having to work till midnight because there are too many books, and being totally damaged and totally depressed and not knowing where to go with your life because you just don't want to do it anymore. It shows all of that, but it also shows how much fun it can be and how much love she puts in every book she sells. And as I said, this is a true story. Yeah, as I said, for me this book was like a dream in my hands, and it was like reading my future, hopefully. And not only if you want to become a bookseller, but just if you love books, which I guess you do if you watch these videos, then you should definitely pick up either this or like the bookshop book or anything like that, because maybe there is no one closer to the books than the bookseller. Maybe not even the author, I don't know, but it was a really great experience reading this book. But that were all the books I read in January. Let's go on to the movies. So the first movie I watched actually a few days after New Year's Eve was Transcendence. I wanted to watch that movie for quite a while because Johnny Depp, but I never got around to it, and it was quite good that I watched it with someone who has seen it before and who had thought about it all quite a lot before. Sorry, I can't really think today, I'm a bit, yeah. Anyways, I watched it with someone who already thought about the things. So Transcendence is a movie about this really intelligent, popular man dying. What's it called? Oh shit. When computers can think? Unreal intelligence? Yeah, of putting his brain into a computer. I can't really... Oh shit, I can't remember what's it called. I'm so sorry. But you know what I mean, right? So he wants to put his brain... Or he doesn't want to do it, but his wife wants to put his brain into a computer, and they do that. And then it works. Anyways, yeah, let's go on. It works, and his brain and his thoughts are in a computer, and his wife is really happy about that, but the best friend of the two who helped her with it thinks it's quite creepy. And then it goes on that he builds a village, kind of, where he uses all his knowledge to do science projects and to build humans, kind of, and to heal humans. And there are a lot of people who come to him for help, and he heals them and he helps them. But in doing so, he also starts to control them, so he can switch into their body. We never learn if these people knew that, and we also never learn if they agreed to do that. And that's the problem with this movie, because it is really problematic. And yeah, I still don't know on whose side I stand, because I think it is really creepy, but it all depends on whether or not these people agreed on him living inside of them. But if that is anything that you're interested in, if that's anything you think about sometimes, of like computers controlling our lives, then you should definitely watch this movie, because it really shows both sides. After that I watched The Golden Woman, which is a movie about a Jew who has to escape from Austria to go to, I think America, yeah, to go to America. And then years afterwards she learns that a famous picture or famous painting of her aunt is in an Austrian art gallery. And she wants to have it back, because it's everything left from her aunt that she had. She gets a lawyer, and he's really young and inexperienced, but he's passionate for it, and they try to get back this painting. I won't tell you if they do or not, and to be honest, most of the time of the movie you really don't know if they will win or not, which is something I really like, because I hate when you know, oh yeah, in the end everything will turn out fine. So that was a great aspect of the movie, but it also was a whole different perspective on this whole Nazi thing. Obviously I'm quite sensible about this because I'm a German and it's my history that is so dark, and it's my history that killed so many people, and I still feel like a lot of German people don't understand it. A lot of German people don't understand how horrible that is. So yeah, I have a lot of problems with this topic, and I wasn't sure whether or not I'd be okay with watching this movie. I did cry a lot, and it did depress me a lot. It did kind of hit me in the face again, as it does every single time. But it was another perspective, because actually what this woman was, all that this woman wants, is to put her history in the past and put her past in the past and just let it go and forget about it, which she can't if she doesn't get this painting, and she can't forget about it if she can't be reunited with the only thing left from her family. You might realize that this is a really emotional movie and a really emotional topic. And yeah, I can't say whether I liked this movie or not. I would recommend watching it. I would absolutely recommend it. But to be honest, I wouldn't blame you if you don't. It is a tough subject. After that I watched a French movie which is called Eine Stunde Ruhe, and I honestly forgot what it's called in French, I'm sorry. I'll put a link down below, hopefully, or like the name or anything will be down below. But anyway, so what was a French movie. It was quite funny, I guess. It's basically about this man who wants to listen to this great record he bought, and he waited for it for years, and it's totally special and anything, and he just wants to listen to it, but then a lot of things happen and he never can listen to it, and actually the things that happen are quite huge. But all you can think about is listening to this music, and yeah, it was quite funny, I have to say. It wasn't that bad. I'm personally not a huge fan of the French humor or the French movie humor. I think it's all a bit too fast. That was again something I thought in this movie. It was a bit like fast-paced, and it was a bit like then happens that, then that, then that, then that, then that. So yeah, it was a bit too fast for me. I also think that some of the subjects that they made fun of were quite sensible. So they could have chosen other things, but I understand why they chose this. And yeah, it's okay, it's nice. You could watch it if you want to, you could not. You could watch something else, you could forget I ever told you about this. And then the last movie I watched was Grizzly Man, which is a documentary about this guy who lived with grizzlies. This guy, he actually exists. This is not like a fake documentary or anything. He actually existed. He died because of a grizzly accident, so a grizzly killed him. And he lived with grizzlies for 13 years every summer, I think. Or was it winter? No, I think every winter, yeah. every winter he lived with the grizzlies. And then he dies and someone gets the things he recorded and his diary and everything. And they start interviewing all his friends and his helpers and his supporters and also the people that thought he was quite crazy for living with the grizzlies. Which is good. I like that you get all the different point of views, and obviously the people in this movie saying it was really stupid of him thinking that he could live with the bears and obviously it's really dangerous are right. It is. The thing is, he knew that. To be honest, I was a bit angry at the people who didn't seem to get that. I was a bit disappointed with those who knew him, who were friends of him, and didn't seem to understand how important this was for him. I have a different point of view. I have the point of view of him being in a really bad situation in his life and this grizzly project saved him. That's what I think. It can be wrong. Of course I can be wrong. I didn't know this man. But all these opinions aside, it was a really interesting documentary. It was a really interesting topic and I think I will research more about this man. And the movie itself wasn't that good. Like, you did realize when the people were having a script and like, oh yeah, I miss her so much. That happened, so it wasn't the best movie, but it was really interesting to see these different point of views and to see his experience, and obviously there were beautiful, amazing shots of grizzly bears, obviously. So I think if you want to, you could really watch this movie. I would say watch it by yourself and watch it with the go into it with the with expecting to get angry, to be sad, to hear something you don't want to hear. You can expect all of that from this movie, but it fits, it suits the documentary, it suits the topic, so yeah, I thought it was really interesting. Yeah, I think that's it for this month's wrap up. Let me know what you read or watched this month, or if there's anything you can recommend for me for February. And don't forget to think of something to smile for every day, even if it's just a really nice line in the book you're currently reading. Other than that, I will see you next Wednesday. Have a nice week. Goodbye!